This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, doing this primarily as a test run to see if I can get my internet to act up like it has been for the last month and a half. And so I'm going to pull up an article and read it because I did think it was actually an interesting article and something worth talking about. And we'll see if my internet holds up. And if it does hold up for the entirety of the article, then, hey, maybe things are actually working right. So from the Washington Post, rural students' options shrink as colleges slash majors. With no car and a toddler, Shemaya Jones enrolled this last fall in a four-year university in her small town in Mississippi, Delta State University. She planned to major in digital media arts, but before she could start, the college eliminated that major along with 20 other degree programs, including history, English, chemistry, and music. They're cutting off so much, and teachers are leaving, Jones said. The cuts take away from us and our education. Across the country, rural students like Jones are feeling shortchanged and frustrated. Many of the comparatively few universities that serve rural students are eliminating large numbers of programs and majors, blaming plummeting enrollment and resulting financial crises. Nationwide national enrollment has declined by 2 million students, or 10% in the 10 years ending in 2022, hitting rural schools particularly hard. An increasing number of rural private nonprofit colleges are not only cutting majors, but closing altogether. We are asking rural folks to accept a set of options that folks in cities and suburbs would never accept, said Andrew Cornick, a professor of higher education at Appalachian State University in Boone, North Carolina. It's almost like, well, this is what you get to learn, and this is how you get to learn it. And if you don't like it, you can move. For many rural students, there are already few places to go. About 13 million people live in higher education deserts, the American Council on Education estimates, mostly in the Midwest and Great Plains, where the nearest university is beyond a reasonable commute away. Meanwhile, more than a dozen private nonprofit universities and colleges that were in rural areas or served large proportions of rural students have closed since 2020, data shows. It's creating a second class of people to say, you pay your taxes just like everybody else does, you vote like everybody else does, but you just can't have the same choices as everybody else because there aren't enough of you here, Cornick said of the cuts. In a lot of rural places, the idea of choice is sort of a fiction. Rural serving institutions are defined by the Alliance for Research on Regional Colleges, or ARRC, which Cornick directs, as those located in counties classified as rural and not near a metropolitan area. Even some flagship universities that serve rural communities are making big cuts. West Virginia University this fall began the process of eliminating 28 undergraduate and graduate majors and programs, including most foreign languages and graduate programs in math and public administration. The University of Montana is phasing out or has frozen more than 30 certificate, undergraduate, and graduate degree programs and concentrations. A course review is also underway at branch campuses at Pennsylvania State University due to declining enrollment. But most of the cuts have occurred at regional public universities, which get considerably less money from their states, about 1,100 less flagships, and the ARRC calculates. Regional institutions educate 70% of undergraduates who go to four-year public schools, according to the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. These campuses are also more likely than other kinds of institutions to enroll students from lower-income families and who are first in their families to go to college, the Baltimore-based Art and Science Group consultation found. St. Cloud State University in Minnesota is cutting 42 degree programs, for example, including criminal justice, gerontology, history, electrical and environmental engineering, economics, and physics. The University of Alaska system has scaled back more than 40 programs since 2020, including earth sciences, geography and environmental resources, and hospitality administration. Also during that period, Henderson State University in Arkansas dropped 25, and Emporia State University in Kansas cut, merged, or downgraded around 40 undergraduate and graduate programs, majors, minors, and concentrations. I think the big thing we should be asking is, what programs are they not cutting? What programs are they keeping? What are the things that these universities have decided are important to keep? If they're getting rid of stuff like electrical and environmental engineering and history and economics and physics and criminal justice, what are they keeping? What's actually staying on these campuses? What do people think they need to be getting degrees in? Because more often than not, these are things that you could actually get a job in. So what are the things that, because as we've seen over the last 20 years, college has become more and more useless. The degrees that they're offering are more and more useless. You can't find anybody that's hiring at a corporate level, that's hiring at an actual big firm that looks at your degree and thinks, oh, great, this guy is going to be perfect. They know exactly what they're doing. No, they see a degree as actually a hindrance. You're coming into the job force with a degree, and that means they have to teach you or unlearn everything that you just learned in college for 4 years so that you can now learn how to do the job. The degree is becoming useless. A tech school or a trade school or something like that is way more beneficial, or just job experience is way more beneficial in the current job market. What are the things that they're keeping? I need to go and look more at this and find out, like, not just what programs are they cutting? Because some of these are, what's gerontology? Who the fuck knows what gerontology is or gives a shit? But like some of these things that they're cutting probably need to be cut because they're useless, but also what are they keeping? What are the things that these universities have deemed are important that they need to keep around for the students who are going to be at these places? Also, I know where Delta State is. I lived 15 miles from Cleveland for 3 years. It's not like there's a whole lot of students who are going there. And a lot of the students who are going there are going for more trade school type programs. They're doing the 2-year degrees and stuff for stuff in their area so that they can get a better job with the company that they're working at on the river or like wherever else. That it's not like you're going to Delta State University to become a marine biologist. So some of those programs can be phased out because they're just not necessary for the student base that you're looking to reach. I mean, and that's reasonable and logical, right? You would want your educational system to be built around what makes sense for the students in your area. Gear it towards the students who are there for a particular reason. Give them the option. Like this girl who says she's going there for, what was it at the beginning? Digital media arts in Cleveland, Mississippi. There are no digital media art firms in Cleveland, Mississippi, or anywhere within 2 hours of Cleveland. You'd have to drive all the way to Jackson. And if you're doing that, you can go to Jackson State, or like options are not out of reach for that somewhere else. So like, yeah, phase these programs out. Make college more affordable for the students who want and need it. That's why a lot of students do go to these tech schools or trade schools or do the 2-year degrees and stuff like that, because it's more affordable. It's easier. All right. So mine dipped here, but it didn't start flashing there. That's odd. Anyway. So yeah, like make college make sense for the students who are doing it instead of offering 40 programs that nobody's enrolling in, hiring and staffing full departments for absolutely no reason. Like, cut the waste, get rid of all the excess stuff, make college more affordable. The reason that a lot of these programs and a lot of this administrative staff gets added to these schools is because of government pressures on the university system to add more people, to keep building more and more and adding all of this stuff, which doesn't add any value. It just adds cost. So, okay, sure. Like, let's cut 40 programs. If 40 programs need to be cut them. But also, and I will definitely follow up on this, let's find out what they're keeping. What have they chosen not to cut to keep on these campuses that is being pushed as the important thing, where some of these things that are getting cut seem like they might potentially have a greater value than, I don't know, like gender studies or underwater basket weaving. I'll be back here, I don't know, in about 45 minutes with my buddy Jay, and we're going to talk about the stuff that's been going on in the Capitol with Nancy Mace and the gendered bathroom stuff. So that'll be here shortly. So tune back in about 45 minutes. Later.